wanted to just quickly put a video together about one of the things I'm trying to raise awareness of on the challenge, which is the symptoms of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So the next few clips are going to be about how Ehlers-Danlos syndrome affects my digestive system. Me personally, I have had digestive issues since I was probably about age 13. Historically, apparently, I did have some sort of issues as a child as well, but 13 is where I can really remember it getting severe, and I can remember sort of hospital admissions, that sort of things starting to pick up. So I'm going to talk you through just a few bits of how it affects me and my life. So first off, the most severe symptom for me when it comes to digestive health with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is slow transit constipation. So everyone knows that we eat food, it then works its way down into our stomach, gets digested a bit, and then works our way through our intestines until we eventually get rid of the waste product. Now with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, it's a really common symptom that we have extremely sluggish, slow bowels. And what that looks like for someone like me is I suffer with really severe constipation. Before I was on my current medication and treatment, I would end up in hospital every few months with bowel blockage. I would have to sort of take months to recover. Really horrible symptom. Everyone knows what bloating feels like and what it feels like if you're a bit constipated. So you can imagine what that is like to live with lifelong. Now, as I said, I currently take medications and I use something called a Colopass peristine irrigation system to help me go to the toilet. Essentially what this is, it's a catheter. The same way that you can get urinary catheters, this basically helps me with getting rid of waste product. So every day I have a routine that at roughly the same time for me, about 3 o'clock, I have to excuse myself, go to the toilet, do my irrigation bag on the hope that it helps me go to the toilet. Now sometimes it doesn't work, and that can be for all sorts of reasons. It could be if I'm a little bit stressed, it could be if I'm a bit dehydrated, it could just, honestly, it could be anything that causes that to happen. Sometimes it just bloody happens and it's not in my control. And that is where I really struggle. I obviously, as most of you know, also have autism and ADHD. Now, one of the fundamentals of most autistic people, and I'd say probably more so autistic women, is that we really like to have routine and we like to be in control of things. We like to preempt what's going to happen because sometimes our world can feel like we have absolutely no control and that we don't fit into it. Now, obviously, as I said, I try to keep routine by doing my bag at the same time every day, but sometimes it doesn't go well. And that can be really difficult, really stressful, and even just can give me anxiety leading up to it, because if there is something I want to do in the evening or beforehand or whatever, it really can be disruptive. And I find that really tricky. I find it difficult to plan things. I often feel like I let people down because when it does go wrong, it causes really bad pain and discomfort. So that's my major complaint and my probably worst symptom is the constipation and the slow transit. But along with that, I do have other symptoms such as reflux. So that means we all know what reflux is. We get that heartburn feeling. Again, commonly with EDS, because our valves in our esophagus are not quite as tight and as strong as everyone else's, it can allow acid to travel back up your esophagus, which can make you feel quite poorly, get quite bad pain in your chest. I get things like extremely bad wind, trapped wind, bloating, as I say, which really is uncomfortable. There are a few things you can do to try and help, but mostly you just have to let it be and get on with it. Obviously, having all of these digestive issues do impact every part of my life. You know, whether it's being constipated and being in pain, whether it's the fact that I have to add my poo bag into my routine, which can be very disruptive and makes me feel like I let people down. The other thing is that what I eat actually is very different to everyone else. So I can only tolerate very soft, sort of very mushy food, so things like yogurts, soups. I stew all of my food, even at this time of year. You know, I will make a stew so that I can try and get as much nutrition in as possible. Throw into that I have numerous food allergies. It's really difficult to eat out with people, which again is a massive social element that is affected. Now, as someone who has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but also is a personal trainer, I'm also a running coach, I wanted to do a charity event that would show people that even with these complications, it is still possible. And yes, it is hard. Like, as you can imagine, because of my digestive issues, I've really had to work out down to a fine art what nutrition I can take, when to take it, how to take it, to make sure that I'm not running out of important energy sources because I'm doing so much exercise, but it adds to, it adds to the depth of the event itself. I didn't want this to be easy. And yeah, so I hope that you guys can sort of see not only am I physically really pushing myself when it comes to the running and the walking, but actually also calculating the nutrition has been really tricky.